NFC North rivals battle on NFL Wildcard weekend, and we have a chance to win $100,000. Hey, what's going on there, everybody? That's right, it's an AFC North battle between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I think this is going to be a really good, fantastic matchup. And thanks to our friends over on the NBC Sports Predictor app, we can win $100,000. You guys know how this goes by now. They give us 7 questions. All we got to do is correctly answer all 7 of them, and we could take home that $100,000 prize. If nobody can do it, they'll still give away a guaranteed $5,000 prize. The people that can get the most right is Steelers, Browns. Let's break it down, and I'm your host, Jason Mattis, as always. All right, question 1 is Baker Mayfield passing yards and touchdowns. Well, Baker on the season, he averaged 233 yards in the air and 1.6 touchdowns per game. But if we look at the 2 games versus Steelers this season, which are obviously great comps, he got 196 yards in one game and 119 yards in the other game, and he got 1 passing touchdowns in each of those games. The Steelers allow 194 yards per game, which is 3rd in the NFL, and over their last 3 games, they averaged 160 yards, which is also 3rd in the NFL, so a really good stingent pass defense. The Steelers are allowing 1.4 touchdowns over the course of the season, but in those last 3 games, they're only allowing 1 touchdown on the season. I'll go ahead and say Baker Mayfield gets 175 to 199 yards, and he'll get 1 touchdown. Question 2 is about Ben Roethlisberger, passing yards and touchdown. Well, Roethlisberger averages 254 yards on the season with 2.2 touchdowns per game. Versus the Browns earlier, we know he only played 1 game as he sat out week 17. He got 162 yards and 1 touchdown. The Browns allow 247 yards per game through the air, and it's 200 in their last 3 games. And the Browns allow 1.9 touchdowns per game, and it's 1.7 in their last 3. I'm going to go ahead and say Ben Roethlisberger gets 235 to 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. Question 3 is Nick Chubb, rushing yards and touchdowns. Chubb averages 89 yards per game on the ground with 1 touchdown per game. Versus Steelers, he only played in 1 game versus Steelers, and that was just last week. He got 108 yards in that game, and he got 1 touchdown. The Steelers allow 111 yards per game. In their last 3 games, though, it's up to 157. So a rush defense that is getting worse towards the end of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and say Nick Chubb gets 95 to 109 yards and 1 touchdown. Who's going to get the first TD of the game? Well, Nick Chubb, he's got 12 of the 21 rushing touchdowns on the team. Jarvis Landry's got 3 of the 27 passing touchdowns. He's also got another rushing touchdown. Kareem Hunt has 5 of the 27 passing touchdowns. Any other player has 27 TDs from 9 players. James Conner of the Steelers, he's got 6 of the 12 rushing touchdowns. Chase Claypool has 9 of the 35 passing touchdowns. He also chips in with 2 more on the ground. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's got 9 of the 35 passing TDs. And any other player for the Steelers gives you 23 TDs from 4 players. I'm going to go ahead and say Nick Chubb will be the first touchdown scorer here. I gave you the Steelers' rush defense of how it's gotten worse here in the last season. We also just saw this game play out last week, so we have a really good script to follow. And I think the Browns will take advantage of that run game, and then it's just hoping that Nick Chubb is on the field and not Kareem Hunt. Question 5 is what's going to be the most second quarter receiving yards? You guys know I use targets on this because we've been successful. With Jarvis Landry for the Browns, he leads. He's number 1 on the team in targets by 31, and he was also number 1 in targets just last week against the Steelers. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and skip, and now we'll look at the Steelers players. Chase Claypool, he's number 3 on the team in targets. He was number 1, though, on the team in targets last week by 3 targets. Juju Smith is number 2 on the team in targets, and Deontay Johnson is number 1 on the team in targets. And then you got obviously any other player. I'm going to go ahead and mix it up just a little bit here and say Juju Smith-Schuster here for Pittsburgh. Look, the thing I like about him is Big Ben. Obviously I had him throwing more passing yards, so that kind of eliminated Jarvis Landry just of the fact that I have Roethlisberger getting more yards. And then Juju Smith is just real solid targets, number 2 on the team. Ben Roethlisberger trusts him a lot. You get in the playoffs, you kind of go to who you trust. And the number 1 guy, Johnson, in targets, he seems to have a case of the drops. I mean, watch the fair number of Pittsburgh games this year, and he just has really untimely drops. I think in the playoffs, you go to who you can trust, and he obviously trusts Juju Smith-Schuster, so I'll take my chances with him. Question 6 is what's going to be the longest play of the second half? It can either be rushing or receiving. This one's obviously a complete guess. You guys know how I feel on that. So I'm going to go ahead and say 40 to 44 yards. And question 7, as we know, is always what's going to be the winner and what's going to be that win margin. Well, the line is currently Steelers -6. I'm going to go ahead and say Steelers win the game by 6 points. I think this is going to be an absolute hell of a game. Again, we saw this thing play out last week. Even though it was close throughout, then the Browns get a little bit of a lead there, 2 touchdowns. But Mason Rudolph is able to lead an almost comeback. Obviously, you're going to get Ben Roethlisberger in this game. You're going to get Cameron Hayward there on the line. So you're going to get some players that took some time off last week. They're going to be back in the fold now this week for the Steelers. Hell of a game. I could honestly see this one going any way, but give me Steelers and give me winning the game by 6. All right, guys. If I've been of help to you, go ahead and like this video. All the likes let me know that I've been of help to you. And good luck on our chance to win $100,000 on Steelers versus Browns AFC Wildcard game. And I'll see you guys on the next contest.
Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.